is it?
Some sort of energy field.
Be careful, Rambo. Captain Rambo. Watch it.
Wanda, can you read me? Who's doing the signal? Wanda.
Marvel Studios.
What is going on, guys? It's your boy PJ, the OG Keymaster, and I'm here with the All Knowing Mike Becker. What's going on, Mike?
Oh, not much. I'm really excited to talk about this episode.
I know you are. I know you're excited that we are almost out, or it looks like we are out of the whole sitcom thing, right? And we're actually diving into some actual Marvel stuff and not
getting
just
into the less filler feeling
right.
stuff.
The meat and potatoes, if you will, of the show.
Oh, it was good.
And so we learned a lot of stuff regarding what has happened, right? Like why we're watching for the first 3 episodes the show essentially, and we find a better idea of when the timeline is, as far as when this is all taking place. We have Mr. McCorkindale here, the all-knowing.
Yeah, this nickname needs to change. I'm just a comic book guy. I am by no means all-knowing, but it's a good barb.
Yeah,
everyone likes to give me a hard time.
Go ahead and I guess what was your take on the episode, man?
Well, before I dive into it too hard, I'm going to talk about Jimmy Woo and just how much I love this guy. I went back and watched this weekend Ant-Man and Wasp. Not a movie I really appreciated a whole lot the first time around.
Right.
And I cannot get enough of the everyman that is Woo, Agent Woo.
Yeah.
And we were kind of thinking he was going to be a sword guy or something like that, but he still
works for FBI. Yeah.
And still just an affable guy. Like, he should be promoted at some point just for being so nice.
Such good spirits. Like, it just seems like an all-around nice guy,
He's the guy you want on your company softball team. Like,
absolutely.
You want to have a beer with Jimmy Woo.
And that joke actually was referenced in the show, which was actually really funny. It made me chuckle a little. I was like, that's actually kind of funny. But no, yeah, I like the actor. I honestly I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
And I really don't know what else he's been in, but
he has been in some other stuff that I've seen. I know that I've seen him in other stuff. Actually, Fresh Off the Boat, which was a comedy series on like NBC, or I think it was.
Yeah,
NBC.
it was a sitcom, right?
Yeah, but I believe he was on that. Hopefully it was, and I'm not just profiling or whatever. I'm not trying to do that, but I believe he was on that show. He's the dad in that show, if I'm not mistaken.
And to me, he's kind of serving the role that they originally, in the back matter at the end, the stingers, the after the movies content,
right?
He's kind of fulfilling that Stitwell role, of not a Coulson level guy. They're not going to give him his own show, but you know who he is at this point. You see him in the background cleaning up after superheroes. Yep.
Right, he's established, and I think that's going to go a long way to kind of bridge the I think the Disney Plus shows to the older movies and kind of connect the universe. You know what I'm saying? It's something that I think they lacked in the Netflix shows. They started that way, if you will, because like they always had mention of the Battle of New York and stuff like that, but then like nothing ever really came of it. It was just kind of left out there, and kind of how they did with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as well, where at the very beginning, like first 2 seasons, it seemed really, really connected to the MCU, to the movies, if you will. And then as time went on, whether it be the the big riff or whatever between the TV side of the studio and the movie side of the studio. It just felt really disconnected, and I think Marvel could go a long way if they, start bringing in some of those older, maybe less thrown out there characters from the movies and incorporating them into the Disney Plus shows.
Well, they brought Darcy in this one.
Yeah, then that's another one that I thought she did a good job. We got Chris. This was a great episode, absolutely. Yes, and whoever is watching, hopefully that is Rick. But you're right, him on Fresh Off the Boat aired on ABC. I bet you that's Rick because he's quick on the Google search. So I bet you that is Rick there at Phoenix Comics. But yes, Chris, I have to agree with you that this was. I mean, I don't know. I didn't mind the other 3 episodes because I was always digging deep into the episodes, looking for all the Easter eggs and stuff. So I didn't mind the sitcom-ness of it. But I know you had your reservations.
Longer
right?
than I wanted it to.
Right. Okay, I could go for that. I can understand that it seemed kind of campy at first, if you will.
And there was a way around that. The first 2 episodes could have just been the pilot. You know what I mean? That combine them into an hour-long pilot and then one more episode of the 70s stuff. And yeah, I guess how they did it was fine. And I'm glad that they released 1 and 2 together, because if I had to sit through 3 weeks of that, I'd have probably been a little more
Maybe that's what they were thinking. Maybe that's what they were thinking is like, hey, maybe we overdid it with this. But I think it needed to be established that this was kind of, a built-up universe, a micro universe, if you will. So I think they had to establish that. That's why you had the 3 episodes of this. Because I think we're going to start realizing that something else is afoot here. And I mean, we all know it, but you can't just have one episode where it's like her 30 minutes of her in the sitcom, if you will. And then it's like, oh, they came about, the sword and the FBI came and stumbled upon this and we solved the mystery of what it was, right? They had to build up to it. And I get for some people, this was different than what they are used to in an MCU, esque property. But I think it needed to happen. I'm glad that they did the slow burn because I think these next few episodes are really going to make the first 3 just well worth it.
Yep, the execution was there. It felt like a really like any road trip, you hate the travel part of it, but the payoff was great. I was happy when we got to the destination. Now we know at least we know as much as Sword knows that's going on, and it feels. I love the feel of this last episode, and I cannot wait to see where it goes. I'm on the edge of my seat. Like, give me more. I'm sad that this is only going to be 6 episodes. 2 more does not feel like enough.
Right.
But that's the point. I mean, we're supposed to want more, so.
Now, I remember, I think it was Ray that was saying that it was 9. I've heard 9 too, but like IMDb only shows 6 episodes. So I don't know, but I remember reading Ray said that there was 9 episodes. And if there are, that's awesome. I could have swore I read at one point that there was only 6, and I'm pretty sure IMDb only shows that there's 6 episodes. So hopefully I'm wrong and IMDb is wrong. Right. I just think I don't think they did 9 episodes. If you look at, I think like Mandalorian was only 6 episodes the first season, wasn't it? 6 or 7?
6 or was it 8?
I'm just trying to think. Like Disney Plus is probably going to have the same kind of format is what I'm guessing, but I don't know. I want to real quick go back to the very beginning because we said that it kind of set up the timeline on when this is actually taking place. I mean, it looks like it's fresh after everyone comes back from the blip. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, it's like it may be like a week or two
She
after
took 2 weeks off post blip.
post blip. Okay, so she's coming back. That was the other cool thing is that like in Spider-Man Far From Home, we kind of got this comedic blip return, if you will. Like, you had kids popping back in from I stand corrected. If IMDb, I could have swore I looked at the other day and there was only 6. So good on you, Ray,
Look at
for
Ray giving me a
I know.
gift.
Look at the big brains on Ray.
I am so happy that it's 9. Oh,
All right, so we got John Lang. So is Vision like being Weekend at Bernie's right now? I think. Well, let me get into that in just a minute because I want to talk about like the timeline or whatever. But we got to actually see kind of like the chaotic side of the blip return. As I was saying, in Far From Home, we saw the comedic side where the kids came back. It was like the band people like got dropped off in the gymnasium, and I don't know. It just seemed really more of a comedic thing that they, people just drop back to earth or whatnot. But in this, we actually saw that, there was this chaotic scene at the hospital where people are just randomly forming, and no one knows what's going on. No one has any idea that they've been gone. And like, you kind of get the sense that like, what if this happened to you and like you were here 1 minute, then you were gone, and then you're back and you have no idea what's happened in the past 5 years or whatever. So I thought that was kind of cool to see, the realness of that. Cause you see it and they're just like, oh, people came back and they were just like, oh, great. People are back. Like, no, there was a sense of like chaos that was happening at that moment.
and Aunt May does have the speaking of Homecoming, she has the fundraiser for blip victims, but I bumped it to 9. Yeah, that's the poll I have. I've got a lot of studio poll.
Yeah. Pushes up glasses. Actually, that's pretty good. So Phil here, what happened to the people who were blipped out of planes or the planes that crashed? Where did that reappear? People on boats out at sea. Everyone seems to reappear from where they disappeared from. Yeah, that's
hopefully in the plane and not in the sky.
No, but I mean, so what if so do you think? I would think the people disappeared, but the plane probably still existed, right? The plane, like, I don't think Thanos snapped.
He didn't snap inanimate objects.
Yeah, so like, if you're riding on a plane, or like Phil's saying, if you're riding on a plane or whatever, and you get snapped, like the plane's gonna keep going. Like, where do you wind up whenever you reappear?
I would imagine back in the plane because you weren't in the sky; you were in the plane, which was in the sky.
Okay,
so
all right. What if the plane crashed though?
Right?
What if the pilot? Point. What if the pilot was, got snapped? The plane crashed. Yeah. All right, so we're getting into some what ifs. Yeah, actually,
that'll be my move now.
Yeah,
probably always has been.
And Rock On saying that he loves that Kat Dennings. I'm a big Kat Dennings fan. I think she is the bomb diggity, and so yeah, I appreciate them bringing her back, and she actually is a full-fledged, PhD scientist now, which is
which
cool.
Isn't consistent because wasn't originally they got her in an internship program, but she was like an English major or something.
Yeah.
Boy, that grad program is pretty forgiving if they gave out a PhD for that.
Guys, I'm going to shoot out the StreamYard link. If you want to, you can copy paste that, and you can join Mr. Becker and I during this conversation for however long we go. Everyone is invited, and you can say your piece on what you thought of the show. All right, so about 2 weeks after, Rambo gets blipped back, or returns from the blip, and she's a captain, which I find interesting. Right? I thought that was I don't know, man. That leads me to believe that, I know she's supposed to be in Captain Marvel 2. She's a captain herself. People are still referring her as captain. Maybe I'll actually get my wish and Brie Larson will no longer be in the MCU. What do you think?
I'm not anti-Brie. I'm not for or against her. I guess I didn't dislike Captain Marvel. I was really into cheap back issues when I was a kid. So I bought
Weren't we all?
Original Captain Marvel run volume 1 was one of the only books you could find in large runs in the quarter bins at the shop I went to.
Yeah.
So back when there was a thing called quarter bins. But yeah, I think I got probably 20 straight issues of Captain Marvel and just loved the character. I actually was reading the back issues for about almost a full year before I found out he died. Before I ever started reading, and I was really devastated by it. 14-year-old Mike took that hit hard.
Yeah, that was one that left you in your room sobbing.
It was. I was just really upset about it.
Yeah. All right. So we find out that she's working for Sword. They have a plaque. I guess her mom, Maria Rambo, was the I guess one of the founders of Sword. And that's kind of a callback to when during the first Captain Marvel, when Nick Shield is there at dinner time or whatever with her and Captain Marvel and Talos or whatever, and Nick Fury says, hey, there's always I can always put in a good word for you, whatnot. So you can only assume that word was put in, and she was one of the founding members of Sword. You had her plaque up there, which said Photon, which was her call sign while she was in the Air Force. Obviously, Monica Rambeau eventually becomes Photon. She also becomes Spectrum. So there's a lot of speculation out there on which character she is going to be. So if she takes her mom's mantle as Photon, then that would be Avengers Unplugged number 5 that she became Photon, or it could be that she becomes Spectrum, which is Mighty Avengers number 1.
Which one are you rooting for, or do you care?
I've hedged my bet. I have both. I bought multiple copies of both, because when it was first announced that she was going to be in Captain Marvel, even as a little kid, I knew that they were going to do something with the character. Like, they're not just going to introduce her and then it's going to be thrown off. Like, especially with it being in the 90s, that means that
really benefited them.
Yeah. So by them putting that in the 90s, now you can have an older Monica Rambeau. But yeah, I was out there picking up back issues of Avengers Unplugged 5 and Mighty Avengers number 1. I honestly want it to be Mighty Avengers 1 just because I want her to be Spectrum, just because she's in more groups as Spectrum. And I think it could go a long way if she becomes Spectrum. You can then introduce the Ultimates. You can do a whole lot of stuff if she becomes Spectrum rather than if she becomes Photon.
I can't believe nobody wanted to join us to talk.
I know, guys. I mean, definitely come in here and chat it up. Tell us what your thoughts on the episode were, where you think they're going with this, and the next 5. Dude, we got 5 more episodes. That's awesome, right? Like, they just
killed off, or John, do you think coma like in the comics, or
now so we get to Monica Rambeau meeting up with Jimmy Woo, and so the inhabitants of anywhere near where this anomaly is taking place, within 5 miles, right?
Mhm.
They're pretty much have been wiped of any memory of Westview. And the only
Eastview.
people, yeah, and it's East, yeah, to them, they're from Eastview. It's not Westview.
Right.
That I find that interesting. That it's only, I don't understand, like, why 5 miles? Why not just, why not anyone doesn't remember
Probably because
Westview?
there's a limit to her power.
Okay.
And I think she's one of those kind of like Jean Grey in the Phoenix. I don't think she necessarily knows the extent of her powers yet, and may not always be consciously manipulating reality.
Okay.
It may be a subconscious thing. Something's definitely lurking behind the scenes. I will say this. I think I prefer Scarlet Witch as a villain than at least with Elizabeth Olsen playing her. I think she comes off much better as having like a mean streak than she does as being I just didn't buy Civil War Scarlet Witch, where she was so, what should I do? I don't know. You have the power to manipulate reality,
right,
and you're acting like you're just a victim in all of that. I don't know. I didn't care for her in that movie as, I don't want to say gullible, but just out of didn't have a clue,
Right. So John Lang answered you. He said coma, so we don't have to see.
Man, people do not like Brie Larson. I don't know. Like I said, I'm on the fence. I don't care one way or the other.
She just kind of comes off to me. And she just kind of comes off to me as entitled, spoiled. I don't know. That's just me. I mean,
I love Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah,
and she was in that, so I think I probably have a soft spot for her because of that movie.
That's I can understand that.
I've watched that way more times than a person should.
Yeah. So we meet the acting director, Hayward, right, of Sword 2.
Right.
I want to get into that because I think that leads into something interesting. I shot something out, and so I looked as soon as I went to IMDb before the episode went out. I went to IMDb, I checked out episode 4, and I saw that this guy had been cast as director Hayward. And so I immediately went and I started searching and scouring the internet, and I found, excuse me, I found that in the Marvel universe that there is a Mr. Hayward, and there's a lot of speculation going around that maybe Mephisto has something to do with this, or darker power, right? We know that Doctor Strange is supposed to pop up at the very end of this. So I found this. Let's see if I can bring this up real quick. I found this character. Wait, is it showing it? There.
Darkhold
so I found
stuff.
So I found this character, Mr. Hayward, and his name, it doesn't have a first name though. First name was not revealed, right? And he is a human, and he's tied to the Darkhold. And so, I mean, I don't know, like, I kind of was like, well, maybe there's something there. Maybe this guy that first appears in Darkhold number 6. So that's I mean, if you like this theory, he first appears in Darkhold number 6. But it kind of made sense to me that if they're going this darker route and they're going to introduce, they're going to do this thing where they go into the multiverse of madness, and there's talks about Mephisto and stuff like that. Maybe the acting director is in on it, right? Maybe this guy is behind the scenes doing some stuff and I looked, and Mephisto does have a small crossover with the Darkhold. Like, he doesn't necessarily have too much to do it, but there was a portion of time where Mephisto did something to the Darkhold. He wrote
Did the Darkhold show up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
It did.
Yeah, I thought so. That was about the time I got off of that ride.
Right.
I could not do that show. It did not binge well with me, and
right.
I didn't care enough to watch it when it came out.
And that kind of got me thinking too. You know, they did introduce it in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and maybe, just maybe, Marvel is trying to tie something in from that TV series as well, since it is a Marvel property. They did introduce Ghost Rider in that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That was when they brought in Robbie Reyes.
Yep. And the hexagons. I want to get into the hexagons as well. So Reyes bringing up that, you know, his degrees on his office walls. We're talking about the acting director. They were in the shape of a hexagon. The perimeter that is around the city of Westview is in the shape of a hexagon. The force field is nothing but a bunch of hexagons. Like the when you looked at the force field when they showed it, it was a bunch of hexagons. Is this something? I mean, obviously it is. They don't just throw. It's not a coincidence, right?
Maybe
they don't just throw that stuff in.
Pulling the strings behind the scenes. It kind of makes me wonder why he would send Rambo there then.
Yes. What? Because she even said, why am I going to help the FBI? Right? Like, why?
You got the feeling it was beneath her.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe that's what they were trying to come off as, is like, oh, this is beneath me. But still, why is Sword going to help the FBI? You know what I'm saying? And the only thing that I can think of is that maybe he is invested in this or something, and he wants, you know, more, you know, eyes
maybe
on.
He is Mephisto, or just somebody working for him, or
yeah.
I'm still on an outside. This could be Nightmare. I don't know why I did that on our preview or episode 1 show. I think.
Yeah, that you called it on that one. So John Lang says, think that she is being ate up with grief and manipulated by Mephisto and Agatha to use her powers to create the kids, because Agatha is trying to get her powers to expand.
Now that I like.
And Ray, I agree with you in the comics. And that's what I was going to get at as well, is that maybe all this hex stuff is referring back to her hex magic.
Wanda's powers were always all over the place. I like this version. I like, and it all still ties into when she showed up in Age of Ultron, and they described the two twins. They're like, they tried to give just a bevy of scientific sounding stuff to describe her powers, and they're like, basically, he's fast and she's weird.
Right. That's the other thing I wanted to bring up. So in episode 3, Vision talks about how, like, that he's got super speed, how fast he is. Vision doesn't have super speed.
Yeah, that was never a thing.
So, like, it's almost like, you know, she was trying to combine, and this goes to what John was saying, her grief for her brother and for Vision, and kind of combined that grief, because Vision never had super speed, but yet he always, you know, was rushing off and rushing back, and he even referenced "Thank God I'm Fast," I think in episode 2 or something like that, during the magic show, or when they were getting ready for the magic show.
I'm trying to remember where he uses it the first time, but then he used it to transport that doctor.
The doctor, right? But he doesn't have super speed.
No, he flies, and he doesn't really fly too much in this.
Right. So I thought that he does during the magic show. You remember he levitates
Oh yeah.
or whatever, and she has to save that. But I thought that was weird that they kind of brought that in, and you saying that oh, he's just super fast and she's got magic powers. That's just kind of how they explained it. I thought that was interesting that she has made him have the super speed. All right, so we see Monica and Jimmy the helicopter. If you notice the original color of the helicopter outside of the micro universe, that's what we'll call this, the WandaVerse, is Captain Marvel's colors. Did you notice that? It was like red and blue.
I did not.
Yeah, the colors of the actual helicopter, whenever she sets it down or whatever, it looks like it's got red, blue, and yellow like Captain Marvel.
And it ends up being a drone.
Well, no, it ends up being the helicopter ends up being a drone, but in Wanda's universe, it's the colors of Iron Man.
Right.
But I thought that was interesting that it was Captain Marvel's colors or whatnot, and so it vanishes, and then Rambo goes up to it, she touches it, and then gets sucked into the universe, and that's when everyone from Sword ends up coming in, and that's when they start trying to figure out what's going on, and that's where we get Kat Dennings as Darcy. She comes in, she figures out that there's this radiation that's being put off. I can't remember. Was it CBD? Not CBD. That's the.
Was it a cosmic energy or?
Yeah, it was a cosmic energy that was created from the Big Bang.
Which would tie into Wanda's powers coming from
the stone,
which came from the Big Bang. The
Correct.
Singularity.
Correct. So that was cool that they tied that together and kind of explained that. But she found that there was this radio frequency that was tied to it and got it, and so the radio frequency is outputting what is happening on the inside of this WandaVerse. And so they start formulating theories, much like we're doing. As John Lang said right here, they got a whiteboard going, and most of the questions that they're asking, that's what we're all asking. I thought that was kind of funny and kind of cool that Jimmy Woo and these people from Sword or whatever, which I still find funny too, that Sword didn't just take over. You know what I'm saying? They made this a multi kind of coalition, if you will. You had
right. Well, that just speaks to how friendly Jimmy is. Like, you're not just going to kick him out,
right?
You'll let him hang around,
right? But they start formulating these questions. As John here says, the hexagon was part of that. There was also, if you notice on the whiteboard over to the left side where Jimmy was writing, over to the left side, they were trying to figure out who was responsible. And you can see Skrulls is written as if they're wondering if the Skrulls are responsible for this.
Well, I mean, that's where Sword got their start. So, yeah. I mean, when that's all you know. So, secret Hydra agent. Yeah, that definitely could. I mean, it would stand to reason that there's still some.
I just don't want to see the storyline. I think I said this last week. I don't want to see. I just don't want to see Hydra regurgitated. Like we've got this. We know that. Let's move on. There's other threats other than Hydra. I just don't want to see Hydra.
Their connection to Hydra pretty much died with Strucker, right?
Yeah. I
mean, from a Wanda angle, it was Strucker that experimented on him, and Ultron killed him. So,
right. It is possible. I would like to be done going in on Hydra. I just feel like they've infiltrated SHIELD, and we had that whole thing where I don't know. I don't want to see it happen with Sword now too. Like, I get it. There's bad people in government, but Let's move on. So we also find out that it is Jimmy Woo that is calling over the radio to Wanda and asking Wanda who's doing this. And so that happens. The other thing that we found out is that all the rewinds and all of the stuff that Wanda is like seeing happen, and then like it's like a snap and everything goes back to the way it was. That's not being broadcasted. Someone is filtering that content. Now, whether or not that is Wanda herself or whether that is someone else that is, kind of manipulating things.
I took it to mean that whenever stuff got to a point where Wanda didn't want it to be, she would just kind of rewrite the script, so to speak, and edit herself.
Right. Okay.
I think for now, I mean, until we get a reveal of somebody that may have pushed her to this point, Wanda's the bad guy. Wanda is the villain. Really, ever since last episode where she threw Rambo out.
Right.
I mean, that was bad intentions.
Yep.
She did not do that gently. She put her through a wall and threw her out of her dome.
Right. And she, we see her use her powers, full on, magic powers to pretty much throw her out there. And I thought that was kind of interesting that we got that scene to show how she was expelled, because at the end of the third episode, we just see she's in there. She starts questioning Monica. Who are you? Who are you? And then it comes to Vision coming into the room asking where Monica is, and she said she just left. So we didn't actually get to see her leave. But in this episode, you get to see how she does it. My thing is, I think her being hit with Wanda's powers may give Monica her powers.
Okay. Potentially, or something that's yet to come is going to do it.
Or it happens in, Captain Marvel 2 that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So
I do have, I guess my biggest question at this point is, where is everybody else? Because now that we know the timeline, Wanda 2 weeks ago was squaring off against Thanos with everybody in the Marvel MCU, the movie universe. Anybody that was anybody was at that battle.
Yep.
And 2 weeks later, and we get the feeling that she's probably been in that town for a few days before Rambo gets there. So we could be literally just a week and a half between the final showdown with Thanos and her just wandering around. Is it Connecticut? Is it Massachusetts? I can't remember. Where are we at again?
Is it New Jersey?
New Jersey?
I think it's New Jersey.
New Jersey. Okay, so we're now in New Jersey, and nobody's missing Scarlet Witch. Like, I don't know. I have a lot of questions as to how the Avengers can't be looking for one of their own right now.
Right, because we saw at the end of Endgame where they form the new Avengers or whatever. You see Scarlet Witch, like she floats down or whatever, because it's the new team that's kind of in training, if you will, at Avengers Academy. Wasn't that at the end of Endgame?
I don't remember that. I think you're confusing the end of Civil War.
Was that at the end of
Civil War? Ultron.
Was that at the end of Ultron? Maybe that was. Okay. Maybe. Yeah. Oh, you're right. Okay.
I think that Infinity War movie just kind of ended with everybody pretty much just recovering,
Yeah, you're right.
And then
there was really nothing at the end of Endgame. Like it just kind of faded to black.
Ship with Skrulls, right?
Yeah.
Was that
So that was into Civil War was what I was talking about. You're right. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, that was Far From Home where you had Nick Fury on the scroll ship or whatever.
Okay. What was the stinger for Infinity War? Anybody got or Endgame? I mean, anybody?
There was none. That was the thing, is that they
wasn't
didn't. Yeah, they didn't have one. But I think they said they were gonna put one as a teaser into WandaVision, and they took it out. I can't remember who was saying that. But there was supposedly, maybe it was you. They were gonna do a teaser into WandaVision. Was that you that said that last week or the week before? I thought someone was saying it. But I went looking for it. And there was none that existed. But apparently there was going to be a teaser into WandaVision where it was Wanda like looking at the body bag, or unzipping a body bag, and it was going to be Vision. And that Feige, I guess, said no, I didn't want to do that. And so maybe that's what, this is, this kind of is, maybe wherever she is, maybe Westview or whatever, maybe that's a city that has a morgue or whatever that Vision's body was taken to, or whatnot. I don't know.
That one, yeah, I don't know enough on it to speculate. I just think that's a really quick turnaround.
Yeah. Like you said, a week and a half.
Yeah, he's right. Cap dancing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, okay.
That was the end scene. Yep.
Yeah, because he had to take all the stones back.
Yeah, and you can hear the old-timey music coming out of the window.
Yeah. Which that definitely is going to open up the multiverse, right? Because even the Ancient One said, if you don't put it back right at the specific spot, that you've created another timeline and whatnot. And there's just no way possible that Cap could have done that, right? I think that's what we're going to find out in the Multiverse Madness, is that as hard as he can try, there's no way that you can place that back into the exact spot. And plus, we already know that we have another timeline because Loki took the time stone, right? Was it? Yeah,
right?
What's that?
Did he take it?
Yeah, he picked it up and vanished.
Gotta love Loki.
Yeah, I can't wait for that show. But so we already know that we have another timeline there, which that is probably fractured off more timelines. So I think Endgame has definitely set up this multiverse thing, and now, I think we're starting to get into that with WandaVision, where maybe her powers combined with whatever has happened with the Time Stone is, this is gonna just break it completely.
Yeah, I'm in. I can't wait to see where they go next with the Multiverse of Madness. I know Macabre was saying before we went on here, I'll share his idea. He thinks that the town of Westview is going to become the first mutants or something.
Yeah, I saw that. That's interesting. But there's just no names. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't have.
I mean, they were identifying people from the town,
right? And I looked. I didn't see any. There was like no connection.
Yeah, there was. I feel like if they did do that, there would be spoiler names. Like
right.
Oh, this mechanic is Hank McCoy, and this,
right. But there was more tie-ins to their actual names, I think, like at Mr. and Mrs. Hart, that tied to, which I'm kind of disappointed now, because that now maybe my Jack of Hearts theory is shot to shit, but Mr. and Mrs. Hart, that led to the Jack of Hearts, and now that's not their real name. So
everything I'm reading, it was supposed to be an homage to
Yeah.
Steve Englehart. Eagleheart.
Yeah. So Josh Sanders, just Wanda, and I believe Clint talking. So this was at the end of Endgame, where Clint is talking about Black Widow and Scarlet Witch. They're standing by the water or whatever, and she says like they're with us or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, from funeral to this, we could be as tight as
A
8
week.
days, 9 days, something like that.
So just from that talk, that was probably the last time that we saw Scarlet Witch, was her talking to Clint Barton, and now 8 days later, 2 weeks later, she's having this mental breakdown and created this universe.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rock On said, which opens up Chris Evans' return for the MCU, which is I think he was referencing him putting all the stones back in the exact same place. Guys, once again, I'm gonna shoot the StreamYard link out. If you guys want to, you guys are more than welcome to come on in. If you don't want to type, if your fingers are hurting and you want to talk, you just need your phone. You can use your phone camera and just hold your phone and talk to us or whatever. Be much appreciated if you want to join in or whatnot.
Body. That's why Wanda is so close to New Jersey. She left the Swordblade base and met Agatha, who is the person who is it. Yeah, so the witness protection thing, this is not something I caught really well the first time around, and then noticed it my second time watching.
Yeah. Did you watch it with subtitles this time?
Yes,
you watched
the
it
second time I did.
Second time you watched it with subtitles? I honestly think that's the way to go, is watching it with subtitles. You can pick up a whole lot of stuff from it that you can't necessarily do if you're just watching the show. They put more information in there. That's a good theory, John. Because if you did notice, whenever they were identifying people within the show, Agatha didn't have a last name. Or I'm sorry, Agnes. Agnes didn't have a last name, and they didn't have an ID for her yet. So they still have not ID'd who Agnes is. Or Dottie. Dottie is not up there as well.
Dottie and Agnes.
Yeah.
I really, I can't wait. So now that I know it's 9 episodes, I keep sitting here thinking, well, this gives them a lot more room to work with.
Yeah. And John said she is the only one with no license. That's correct. But Dottie's not even up there. You know what I'm saying? While Agnes doesn't have an ID, like they don't have any picture or anything of Dottie up there. So I thought that was interesting.
Satan?
Could be. Or
Mephisto.
Maybe it's what's we just talked about this last week. What's Dormammu's sister's name?
Dormammu's sister is, oh my gosh.
We just talked about this, Rick. If you're watching,
gonna have this problem again.
Yeah. Was it Gundu, or it was something with a U? Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up.
I'm looking it up now. You go ahead and talk. I'll look it up.
Is it Urdu?
Or it's like Urdu or something, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't remember. But
yeah, I thought that was weird that she's the only one, and then obviously there's no Ralph, who Agnes keeps referencing as her husband. She keeps talking about her husband or whatnot, and
somewhere off with Norm's wife Vera.
Umar is
Umar.
Yeah, Umar.
I thought Urdu came from Thor anyway. I just couldn't remember though.
Strange Tales 150 if you're looking for that first appearance. Strange Tales 150.
I am not. What I was going to say though is, what do you think is most likely? And I'm curious to what the people who are following along with us here think also. Is it more likely that Mephisto is directly involved in this, or does he have an agent? You know, like if they follow this Marvel method, it dictates that whoever your mastermind villain is here, they're not doing their own dirty work.
Right.
They've got somebody working for them.
We saw that with Thanos. We saw that with Thanos, right? Like at first it was Loki. You know, Loki was out there and doing his dirty work. We also saw Ronan in Guardians of the Galaxy. He was, you know, doing the dirty work for Thanos. So yeah, we saw all of that where Thanos didn't really have to do anything until, you know, the final movie, because you know, you want to string that out, or if you will. The other thing, I read a theory. Did you read Donny Cates's Doctor Strange run at all?
Donny Cates's Doctor Strange run?
Yeah, it was like 2 years ago. It was right before he took over Venom.
Was that when? Is that the Damnation storyline?
Yes.
Yes, I read that. Okay.
So I think it's still a little too early, like for them to, maybe incorporate Damnation. But what happened, and this was just on a small scale, what happened when the people got brought back by Doctor Strange in that storyline? So what happens in that storyline, spoiler alert, a whole bunch of people like vanish, right? And Doctor Strange ends up bringing them back with magic. And who comes back because of all of these people being stolen from him? Mephisto. Yeah. Mephisto gets pissed that Doctor Strange reincarnated all of these people with magic.
Am I combining storylines? Why do I keep thinking of Vegas?
Yes, Vegas. It happened in Vegas.
It happened in Vegas. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It happened in a much smaller scale, right? It only happened in Las Vegas.
Right. Because Damnation came in right after Steve Rogers' Hydra angle, right?
Yeah.
And Vegas had already been being used as a prison.
Correct. Yeah, that was right
Vegas
after
really
Secret.
Took it in the teeth for about a year there in Marvel.
Yeah, that was right after Secret Empire.
There. It's probably gone down in value. First, it was a prison, and then it became like hell on earth.
But I thought that was interesting. Someone had mentioned that, like, hey, I don't think that they will adapt that storyline, but there is precedence for maybe these people all went to hell. Maybe everyone that got blipped went to hell. And now that the Avengers have returned everybody from the blip, you've now pissed off Mephisto, who had all of these souls stolen from him. And in order for him to manifest himself, he needs Wanda to, create these kids. And Agnes knows it. Maybe Agnes is working for Mephisto. I don't know. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, I'm just trying to throw it
more as a creature of neutrality, but perhaps.
The thing is like they could go either way with this, right? Marvel, the MCU could do what they want with their characters. And a lot of times, whenever they're adapting this stuff, a la Walking Dead, or there's some other comic book adaptations, they don't necessarily want the audience to know what's going to happen, so they kind of change things up, manipulate things, to keep you on your toes, so that you're not just in a movie theater. They did that with the Infinity Saga as well. They manipulated and changed a few things, but yeah, what if Agnes is not necessarily a good person? What if she is? Because she has been dropping hints that Wanda should have kids. There was the talk in the first episode about her seducing Vision so that, they could, get it on or whatever. And then in episode 1 or episode 2, I think it was.
It was episode 1.
Well, no, yeah, that was in episode 1, and then episode 2, she talks about school districts and stuff like that, and Wanda's like, "Whoa, you're jumping a little too ahead," like we're not there yet. But Agnes is clearly pushing for Wanda to have kids, and so what if Agnes is pushing that because she knows that those kids will be formed or part of Mephisto, and that's what Mephisto needs in order to manifest himself. I find it odd that it would only be a week and a half after, or 2 weeks after, the return of the blip. I think that's a little fast.
Right. And I'm surprised, so they've been set up in that base now for days, monitoring the Wanda situation, and they can't get even a B-level Marvel person to show up and help out.
Yeah.
I mean, even so, the Guardians may have already departed to space at this point,
right?
Along with Fat Thor. And I'm trying to think, though. It probably makes most sense that Doctor Strange will show up, because there's no way this level of stuff is going on and the Sorcerer Supreme doesn't know about it.
Right.
But yeah, I'm just kind of surprised the government hasn't deployed anybody at this point.
What's going on, Captain Comics? We're just talking WandaVision right now. Yeah, I agree. I find it weird as well that they haven't brought in any other Marvel characters or
what was
MCU
Ray's comment? You thought Wanda went to Mephisto?
Oh yeah, I didn't even bring that one up. My bad, Ray. I don't think Mephisto is pulling the strings. If anything, I think Wanda went to him and made a deal.
But what would she need to make a deal for? I mean, Vision was never real. I mean, here's the real question: does Vision have a soul?
Right.
I really think it was a mistake having Vision created by the Mind Stone too, because now it makes it all less likely.
Right.
Like, the fact that Wanda's powers came from the Mind Stone too, I just don't buy it. Like, to me, the Reality Stone would have made much more sense here. And then we could have pushed the limits of what was possible here. Especially with where her powers have developed to now, where she clearly has the ability to warp everyone else's perception of reality.
Yeah. Ray says she needs souls to make her kids.
I think it's still very likely Master Pandemonium shows up, since that's who originally harvested the souls of the children. Wiccan and what's the fast one's name?
Wiccan and Speed, right? It's just Speed. So yeah, they're the kids are going to age quickly, it looks like, because I think the next episode is the Halloween episode, and I think Vision is going to take the kids trick or treating or whatnot. So we'll see the kids, I think, substantially older in this next episode, which will be interesting. The other thing I wanted to point out right after we read off Rock-Ons, maybe it will be a surprise for another Avenger or Marvel character to pop up. Marvel is known for playing things close to the chest. Indeed. The other thing I wanted to point out is I read somewhere that Dottie had to be approved. That whoever played, I can't think of what the chick's name is that played Dottie, but apparently she was the only person that needed to have Feige's approval in order to play the character.
So she's gonna show up in something else. That tells
that tells me that, I mean, even though we've already kind of speculated on it, that tells me that she has a bigger role, and she hasn't been identified. And the fact that she had to be approved is what I read by Feige. Honestly, maybe I can find that. What is Dottie WandaVision and then it was Feige.
And they haven't revealed the last name for her, so it really limits what you could tie her to.
Correct. What if her name's not Dottie though? Obviously, yeah.
Right.
Here, so this was there's a couple articles. I don't know all of the. Let me try and pull this out real quick. Maybe these all coming from the same source or whatnot, but let's see. Cancel that. Maybe it's like one of those things where they're all pulling source information from the same one or whatnot. But this article right here is from gamesradar.com. There was a bunch of articles. This is just the first one that I clicked on, but it says WandaVision actor says she needed Kevin Feige's approval to play Dottie, sparking up tons of theories, and some of the most intriguing surround Emma Caulfield. That's the actress's name. It turns out Dottie could actually be very important indeed, as Caulfield needed Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige's approval for the role. Showrunner and head writer Jack Schaefer is like, well, you got my vote. I just need Kevin Feige to sign off on you, and then you're good to go. So I did a little song and dance, not literally, but metaphorically somewhat, and Feige gave me a stamp, and that was it. And then I was off to Atlanta. Interesting. I'll let you guys go look this up. I just wanted to bring that up. That out of all of the characters, Dottie had to have Feige's approval. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. John Lang. Cumberbatch was in an interview with the cast of WandaVision, and Vision actor was talking about a male actor he hasn't acted with.
They wouldn't have had any overlap in the Infinity.
Maybe they weren't in the same scenes. I don't.
I'm trying to think right now.
No, once Vision died. Yeah, the first time that Strange is introduced to the rest of the guys is during Infinity War.
Right, and he goes to space right away with Spider-Man and Iron Man.
Yep.
And
so yeah, there would have been no time for them to have a scene together. Maybe Dottie could be the Enchantress from Rock On.
I think Enchantress has already been used in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., wasn't she? Or was that her sister, Lorelei?
That I don't know. That probably was after
season 1 or season 2 of, I think it was season 1 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah. They had a crossover with Thor: The Dark World.
Yes. Yeah, that I remember that. That it was almost a season. It was like a season over arc, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Sif shows up in an episode.
Yeah, that was when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was actually felt like it was connected to the MCU.
So yeah, Lady Sif fights either the Enchantress or the Enchantress's sister, Lorelei.
Yeah. I don't know.
Vision and Doctor Strange have never been on screen together. Well, that's interesting. So that would leave that open to Paul Bettany acting with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah. I mean, I think both Paul and Elizabeth Olsen are. I mean, I think they're knocking it out as far as the show, their acting and whatnot. I'm really enjoying seeing a different side from the two.
Yeah, I love it. Evil Elizabeth Olsen makes so much more sense to me. Now, we haven't had a lot to talk about in this vein, but this episode had a little bit more going on. So from the speculation side of things, have you seen a lot of movement this week on the spec boards or whatever? Are people going after anything in particular that they weren't before?
I haven't really seen anything. And I think, next episode, possibly a little more. Essentially what we've known so far, people have been buying up books just based off of what we've already known. Nothing new, has really been revealed too much, to where, people are like, oh, got to have that book. I was already buying up, Uncanny. No, not Uncanny. Was it? Fuck. What was it? The sword book. That was it was the X-Men book.
Is that Astonishing?
Astonishing? Yes, thank you. So Astonishing X-Men number 6 is the first appearance of Sword, if you will, and I was buying up copies of that like, right after Far From Home came out, because that was essentially the first look at when Nick Fury goes up into space and then transforms into Talos, and then what, the real Nick Fury came out or whatnot. Isn't that what happened?
Yeah, the real Nick's on the phone,
right?
And he's like in a simulator at the beach.
Yep. So that was the first kind of hint at Sword, and as soon as that came out, I started buying up all of the as many as I could find in back issue bins of Astonishing X-Men number 6. The other one, Fantastic Four 94, which is the first appearance of Agatha Harkness. I don't think there's much movement, because nothing really big has. We don't know if this is going to be it, like if this is it for Agatha Harkness, like if nothing else happens of her after this, then it's kind of like a dead spec, unless people are just enthralled with WandaVision, because I don't even think they're going to do a season 2 of this. I think once this is over, that's it for WandaVision. And then it's just whether or not they do anything further with Agatha. The other ones from this, Monica Rambeau. So Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 16. That was her first appearance. I think that's a good buy. If you can get that book, especially a newsstand of that book, I think that's a good buy, because I think she's going to be an important figure going forward. Also, if you can find the 2 appearances of her as Photon and Spectrum. So like I said earlier, Avengers Unplugged number 5 for Photon. And then the Mighty Avengers, I think that's volume 2, if I'm not mistaken. Number 1 is her first appearance as Spectrum. I think those 2 books are vastly undervalued right now. I mean, I'm sure the print run on Mighty Avengers is huge, which is why people want the Avengers Unplugged 5, because that was a much smaller print run.
Right.
But Mighty Avengers number 1.
I have that.
I mean, if you don't, I can always send you one. I think I have probably about 6 or 7 of those.
That was a weird time for me. I didn't get everything at that point. Like I bounce in and out of Avengers during that time.
All right, Mike Becker, what did you think of Doomsday Clock, real quick? Because Alex is trying to form a list of people that did not like Doomsday Clock. I know we're switching gears real quick, but
yeah, no, that's fine. I haven't finished it. I'm stuck on issue 8 or 9, and that'll probably tell you how I felt about it. And I think that was around when the gap happened too, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So
check back, Alex. We'll let you know if we got another one for you. Alex,
I didn't care for it.
Alex is on the hunt. Yeah, Alex is on the hunt for people that hate Doomsday Clock. So if you hate Doomsday Clock, then hit up Alexander Babbage. He is trying to get, I guess, Doomsday Clock erased from comics history. That's his goal. So help Alex out if you do not like it. I'll still.
I know somebody didn't like it. Alan Moore, you can write that.
Yeah, Alan Moore. There's a big one. There's a big one.
But he hates everything about comics.
Yeah. So I think those books, out of all of those, Amazing Spider-Man annual number 16, first appearance of Monica Rambeau. You want that in a newsstand. That's out of this series so far. That is definitely the book. If you're speculating, if you haven't gotten it, it's probably gone up significantly because from the looks of it, Monica Rambeau is going to have a bigger future in the MCU. So if you can find it at a shop, I would do that. I would not pay eBay prices. Definitely go out and look. Shop's probably going to have it up on a wall. Probably not going to be in a back issue bin because that's a significant first appearance.
Speaking of back issues, I just picked up on Friday 1 through 11 of the Vision Scarlet Witch.
Did you? Ooh, so you got one through 11?
Yeah, 12 was not in it.
12 is the one you want, though. So
I know.
Definitely.
1 through 11 for $1.
That was a good series, though. Oh, $1 a piece?
Through Phoenix Comics on Blue was doing their live sale. And
man, guys, if you're not real quick, obviously we are simulcast. We are multicasting, if you will, on Phoenix's Facebook page, Phoenix's YouTube page, and then my YouTube page. So if you're watching this on my YouTube page, now is a good time to go like Phoenix's YouTube page or their Facebook page. Phoenix Comics is definitely that's who I use for my polls. I do I do my pre-sale buys from them, and I also tune into their Friday shows, and I buy as many dollar books as I can that Blue puts up because he puts up some fires sometimes.
And I already had that Vision Scarlet Witch, but I haven't seen it in a long time. It's on one of my spreadsheets, though. In the mid-2000s, I made a spreadsheet with everything I had at that time. Yeah. And it's on the spreadsheet. So I have a 12. But when he put that up there and said they would all be $1, $11 to get 1 through 11 of Vision Scarlet Witch, I just said, yeah I'll take it.
It was a good series, and they have called out a lot to that series. Some of the poses, when they went back to back or whatever, and their pose or whatnot. I mean, that was straight out of that series, I believe.
I'd imagine the Trick or Treat episode will have some more nods to it.
Yep. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Elizabeth Olsen in the classic Scarlet Witch costume. That should be pretty cool because it looks like she will be wearing her classic outfit in the next episode, in the Halloween episode. So definitely looking forward to that because she's a looker. But I don't know. Can you think of anything?
Who did you say was a looker?
Elizabeth Olsen.
Oh man, she's got Smeagol head.
No way.
He's got a weird.
Oh man.
Sometimes when she makes a certain face, I just expect her to start talking about her precious.
Guys, you gotta let the All Knowing Mike Becker have it right here. He's definitely giving a thumbs down to Elizabeth Olsen, and I don't even know what to say to that.
Seeing her creepy twin sisters.
Well, that is true too. Yeah, she definitely doesn't look as bad as them though. Like they look really bad.
They're some sort of Goonie monsters.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened to them. Probably the cocaine. But
could be.
So what do you think about what do you think about Quicksilver from the X-Men movies possibly showing up, or it looks like he's going to be showing up?
I would love it. I want to know how they're going to explain it all. I mean, obviously, you just say this is a different multiverse. Miles just mad. Did you mean Mike?
Yeah, he did correct himself. He did correct himself. Well. So Mike's just mad he can't show his own face. And then Ray chimed in, she can talk to my precious anytime. Love
I
it.
should have known those two would be the ones to chime in.
Love it. Yeah, and John Lang even says Elizabeth is hot as fuck. So
I'm in the minority.
that's right. You might be the only one, my friend. You might be the
probably
only
am.
one.
It wouldn't be the first time.
That's not just a minority. That's
I'm on an island.
You're on an island on that one.
Olsen family hatred.
No. So what do you think? So do you think that they'll bring him in as Quicksilver from that multiverse, from the
Yeah,
X-Men
I
multiverse?
mean, you certainly could. I always thought. I mean, we didn't get a lot of Pietro Maximoff, and shut up, Rock On. you guys, that's fine. I'm fine being on the Olsen family hatred island. Now I've lost my place. What are we talking about?
We're talking about Quicksilver coming over from.
Oh yeah. So Pietro in Age of Ultron, it's the only one you see him in, and then he's got a statue at the Avengers Upstate facility. You know, that memorial wing.
Right.
He didn't really impress. Like, to me, if you wanted to see cool Quicksilver, it's definitely the X-Men movies. Those spots where he puts the headphones on and everything slows down. It's great.
Yeah.
What a great use of the.
That's what I was thinking, is that he was going to play her son or a future version of her son or whatever. That's what I thought.
But he has a sister named Wanda in the X-Men movie.
Does he? I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
they walk by her when Logan.
When he comes to the house, right?
Go to the house and meet him up in the basement. His mom thinks they're juvie officers.
Yeah.
And when they come back upstairs, the daughter may be changing the channels by blinking at it.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
So yeah, somehow maybe he's like the Flash, where he's broken some kind of barrier or wall or whatever and gotten into this multiverse, into Wanda's multiverse.
Well, I think whatever happens in Multiverse of Madness could just combine all the lines, and now everybody's hanging out in the 616.
But that movie hasn't come out, and somehow he's supposedly rumored to be in this, right?
Well, Wanda could just go snatch him too.
Because maybe she has a moment where she wishes, or she wills it into existence, and she can't bring him back, but she can bring in another.
And we don't know what the timeline will be here for when Multiverse of Madness comes after. This could immediately go right into it.
Yeah. So Ray doesn't think that any of the Fox stuff will be canon.
It probably won't, but you could make it canon if you want to.
Yeah. And John's, yes, his sister is in the X-Men movie. Yeah, I totally forgot about that part.
That's all right. You can forget those X-Men.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, I watched them and didn't really look too hard into them, but
especially the third one.
Yeah.
What a piece of crap.
Yeah. But yeah, he is definitely rumored to be in the show. What's his name? Evan Peters? Is it Evan? What's his name? The guy that plays Quicksilver?
I should have this. I've met him. I have a picture with him. And I can't think of his name offhand.
Quicksilver, X-Men.
Definitely making a case for me not being the all-knowing right there, Jared. I am not. More like sometimes knowing. The Alzheimer's has hit me hard, man.
Evan Peters. Evan
Peters. Okay, that does sound familiar.
And so I'll go ahead and share this. So this is where I'm pulling that information from. CVR did a article, and I think this is from either last week, right? So this is last week that they Josh we'll get to just kind of real quick before I switch over and share that article. I believe this most definitely setting up multiple avenues to bring in a few big bads instead of just one, like big bad like Thanos. Also bringing in their R-rated heroes, including Daredevil, Punisher, and JJ from Jessica Jones from Netflix, and including the mutants, and heard possible retcon of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver origins to their mutant roots. That's a lot. I mean, that's a tall task. You're trying to do all of that.
You'd almost need
Not saying
3
that it
movies
can't be done,
just to blend it all in.
right? So that's the thing. I don't think they want to jam all this into one movie. I think it'd be way too much. They would be DCing it for sure with Batman vs Superman, where they just tried to fucking shoehorn as much shit as possible into one movie to, whatever. I think if they were to do this, it would definitely have to be over time, and whether or not they'd be willing to invest in trying to explain that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Let me share this real quick. If you haven't seen this article, it was from, like I said, CBR. They did this article where they talk about the Spanish dub voice actor for Quicksilver in the X-Men films, claims he'll once again play Evan Peters' take on the mutant in Marvel's WandaVision. And this is as of January 21st. But we see here that I guess he made a post on social media. Rodri Martin is the guy's name. He's the Spanish voice actor for the Spanish version of the X-Men movies. He said that he would play Evan Peters, or Evan Peters would return as the Speedster from the movies.
In WandaVision.
In WandaVision. And there have been set photos that show Evan Peters on set. So this could be interesting. I would love to see how they it's in June of last year. A report claimed that Peters would indeed be appearing on WandaVision. So there were reports of this as far as last June, which I think WandaVision was supposed to come out in July, right, of last year or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was supposed to be July.
Yeah.
So he was last seen in Fox's X-Men: The Dark Phoenix. The actor debuted at the mutant as a mutant in 2014's X-Men: Days of Future Past. That's where you saw that scene-stealing slow motion sequence that Becker was just talking about. Yeah.
He was in Age of Apocalypse too. Boy, another movie that was terrible.
We see both versions of Quicksilver appear in the MCU show. This might even relate to theories that WandaVision will introduce mutants to the MCU. Recent comic book canon, however, has retconned Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver history, making them no longer mutants, so it's unclear how Peter's version of the character will fit into things.
I know a lot of people are getting House of M vibes. I feel like it's one of those things that if you're looking for it, you'll see it.
But this is what I was talking about real quick. I was just gonna say this is what I was looking forward to next episode is we're gonna see this hottie here, Elizabeth Olsen in the classic WandaVision.
Does she have a battle of riddles with Frodo for who gets to fish heads or
I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're fine. What was I getting at? Oh, the House of M. I know a lot of people have been talking House of M and getting vibes for it. I feel like it definitely has a House of M vibe to it. Especially like setting up some sort of, entrance of mutants the same way in House of M that Wanda got rid of the mutants. kind of a reverse House of M. But I feel like I wonder at times when we read all these articles and when we go looking for what we're hoping is true, you know, do we see it? Do other people that maybe aren't like reading these articles, do they still get the same vibes? I wonder.
Right.
Sometimes I just feel like I see it because I'm looking for it.
Yeah. Rock On said Apocalypse
Rock On, right.
was terrible, but another fun Quicksilver scene.
Yeah, where he gets everybody out of the exploding institute.
John Lang, I had this up. John Lang had said there's a commercial for WandaVision with Evan Peters on Disney Plus. I haven't seen that for upcoming episodes. I haven't seen that, so I'll have to go take a look at that and see what that's all about. Because I have not seen that, although I didn't see the thing about IMDb either. So, you know, Ray,
we're behind.
Yeah, we're definitely behind. Well, I think that's the consensus, is that I think the show has definitely turned it around for you, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to put words in your mouth. You were kind of down on it at the beginning, but I think you're up on it now.
I wanted it to be good. I wasn't a hater. I know we had this conversation earlier and you were more referring to people on social media sites. Yeah, I never was pulling the ripcord. I was very apprehensive that if they did the TV homages too much, it would wear thin. And I feel like it went the appropriate amount. This was a nice break. I could even go back into it if they want to do like an homage to like 80s sitcoms, maybe like a Roseanne kind of family or a Modern Family or any of that stuff.
I think we're done with full episodes because it's already been revealed what it is. So if they do anything, I think we'll just have small glimpses. It'll be a back and forth of what's happening on the outside to what's happening on the inside.
Well, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm excited. What does everybody else feel like? What do you... We can't get anybody come in here with us.
I know.
Previews for the next 3 episodes are on Disney Plus.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to go there and play that after this and see what that's all about. John, what are you thinking? Are you excited about the next 3 episodes? I know on IMDb they had pictures of what, like, at the beginning of this past week, they had pictures of the next 3 episodes. They had 4, 5, and 6 up on IMDb. So, and that was before they added 7, 8, and 9 to the IMDb thing. But yeah, I don't know. We know that there's that one scene, the one freaky scene with Agnes and Vision coming up next week, where Agnes is sitting in the car dressed as a witch.
Okay.
And Vision like leans in and is like, what's wrong? And she like just looks at him and says, "You're dead," or something like that, and starts, cackling like a witch. So I want more context on what's going on there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Vision is about to have his mind blown on, what's going on. Like he's
again.
Again. Excited to see it. All right. So John is definitely excited as far as the next 3 previews for the next 3 episodes go. So that's good. I don't know. I can't wait. I've been all about this show from the beginning. I like the slow burn. I think I knew what was happening, though. You know what I'm saying? I knew that they needed to set this universe up, if you will, this whatever WandaVerse up. I knew they needed to set that up so that they could come back to it and show what was happening or what was transpiring. Mm-hmm. So I had high hopes from the beginning, even if it was this slow thing.
And Wanda clearly knows they're watching her, right?
Does she? Do you think she does?
Oh, boy. I thought there were times where it looked like she was staring at them when she has those little moments of clarity and evilness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens when Vision does break out of there. Does he revert back to being gray and a gaping hole in his noggin?
Or is she somehow able to create things that last outside of her bubble, outside of her reality?
Because we never got the question answered in the Avengers movies. Shuri never was able to remove the gem, so we never knew what was going to happen. Hey, John Lang, do you hate Doomsday Clock?
Alex,
I like the idea that it's an actual petition. People say,
yeah. He's out there, picketing. He wants people to sign his petition. John Lang, I think Agnes will tell him what's going on when he touches her head. Okay. Yeah, 'cause she kind of looks like she's out. Well, in the very first time that they were kind of given the teaser trailer for WandaVision, there's that one scene where it's just very ominous and freaky, where she's just kind of sitting in the car and like not really doing anything, and he like leans in and says like, "Is everything okay?" And she's like, "No, because you're dead."
that's a terrible way to find out you're dead.
Yeah. And John Lang has never read Doomsday Clock, so go ahead and just add him to the list, Alex.
You're not missing much.
Yeah.
Jim.
I
can't say I hated it.
Yeah.
So young Mike probably would have hated it, but as I've gotten older, I'm way more forgiving on stuff I don't like, except for Elizabeth Olsen's face. I'm doubling down. I'm going all in on the hatred.
Yeah.
So now with comics, when I read stuff like Doomsday Clock, that's obviously not for me. I don't crap all over it, because a lot of times I think there's good creative forces involved in that stuff. Artists and letters and colorists and, story plotters, writers that, may have been hampered by forces we have no idea about, being on this side of the industry, being as fans. And, I'm never going to get into anybody, the Jack Kirby rule. I don't want to get in between anybody and a paycheck. If they're getting paid for it, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Keep making comics.
Even if it's not for me, like I can, the only thing I don't like, and maybe, I don't know, maybe you'll agree, maybe you won't agree. I don't have a problem with people making comics. Like I understand not every comic has to be made for me, or I don't have to enjoy every comic. I kind of like that the medium has gotten so big that more people are able to enjoy it, right? I mean, we're in an age where there's a comic literally about anything and everything, and anyone can be a fan of
you
comics.
You can find something that will interest you.
I have no problem with that. What I have an issue with is people changing characters that I have grown up with to try and bring an audience in, right? Like I don't like established characters changed in order or used to try and bring in fans. Create a new character that you want for whatever role you're trying to appease. Make that character, create that character. Don't spit on the legacy of someone that came before you as a comic creator and change their vision. You know what I'm saying? I know, like, comic writers obviously, didn't create Captain America or didn't create the Punisher, but they are telling, a story with this character, and like, you should be true to who the character was and how he was created. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents.
I guess my thing is I'm fine with it because the one rule in comics that I learned early on is none of this is gonna be long term. You know, when Punisher picks up War Machine's armor, we all know he's gonna give it back. Rhodey's gonna be back alive at some point.
Right.
Unless you're Uncle Ben, and they've even broken that rule, you can come back.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about that stuff. That'll never really bother me. I did start to the most annoyed I've gotten about any of the politics behind comics is I'm clearly a New Warriors fan, and politics ruined the chance for me to get another New Warriors volume that was supposed to come out this past year. I got screwed out of that because, and I really do believe, like, I know Kibblesmith's work enough to think that had to be satire.
Yeah.
If it wasn't, I have serious questions as to what they were going for.
You're referencing what, Safe Space and
yes, I think that was all meant to be satire. I'm still mad they just don't give the New Warriors to Matthew Rosenberg. He's asked for it like 3 different times. The guy clearly grew up in the 90s and likes that stuff. That, as me as a fan, wants to see that.
Right.
I want more Speedball. I don't know. He's somewhere up there.
No, and that's fine. And I you know, if they would have released it, here's the thing: is let the market dictate whether or not something is successful or not. If you want to release it, release it. I probably would have picked up
Joe Rogan to talk about the New Warriors.
Yeah, I probably would have picked up the first issue, you know, and it would have been what it was after that. If people would have picked it up, and it was like that's the thing is, we gotta start holding writers of the medium that we love of comics to a higher standard. And if they put out dog shit, then they shouldn't be rewarded for that by getting another title or getting another, you know, spinoff or whatever. Like maybe they're just a one and done. Maybe they had one good series, and then, you know, after that they've had bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb. At that point, it's like, all right, you're 1 for 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, is someone that's batting 100 gonna be in, you know, the major leagues? Probably not. Like, you had one good hit, that's cool, but 9 other times you bombed. And you struck out or whatever.
Is usually the rule, unless you approach kind of like a legend status, or at least that you've done such a big body of commercially successful work that they'll give you that. It's obvious I'm talking about Bendis at this point. That Bendis leash where you're allowed to fail,
right?
Unconditionally, pretty much.
Commercially. DC, real quick, we can get into that. DC had high hopes that he was going to do something with Superman, and
it did not happen.
It did not happen, and I have to say that I was one of those that thought it was going to be good, and that's just got to be egg on his face.
I just finished this. Right before we started talking.
I know you've got Rick into that. That's definitely always one that he is talking about.
Worlds of War.
Yep.
I liked it. I finally had time to sit down and start catching up on Future State. I still need to get this week's polls. I did not make it to Phoenix yesterday.
Yeah.
I'd like to say there is a reason. It was just laziness.
Well, I just paid for. I usually do 2 weeks, so I just paid for my my books. So I will get. I'm usually 2 weeks, unless it's like a hot major book.
How many boxes do your books show up in?
Oh man, sometimes 2 diamond boxes is usually yeah. So that's, and you know what? I've never had damaged books. I order, a bunch of books and have them shipped to me, and never had damaged books. I hear horror stories when people, you see people on social media and they get shipped, 10 books or 5 books or whatever, and they're damaged.
I used to use DCBS, and I had to pay for the bag and board options because I'm not a condition guy with my books.
Right.
But I was just letting them ship them to me raw without the protection of bags and boards. It was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think Phoenix does that for free. You get bags and boards for free, right? I know I do as an in-store customer.
Yep. I get bags and boards for free. And shipping is cheap for the amount of books that I get.
And the progressive discounts are good too. This has become kind of a Phoenix commercial, but really,
we are on Phoenix's channel right now, so
product placement right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 30%, because I get enough. I mean, my pull list is big enough that I get the max here, and 30% is pretty decent.
Same with me. I get the 30%.
I'm paying about the same as I was with DCBS. So and I get the in-store experience.
Right. And the fact that everything for me, the convenience, I travel a lot for work. So the convenience of being able to go on to Previews World and now go on to Phoenix's website and adjust my pull on the fly, on the go, takes, I can go FOC every week and I can look at all the books and I can say order, subscribe. And that way I never have to miss it. Or if I need to unsubscribe, I don't have to go up to go to a shop or call a shop or, write in an email or a letter. Like, I can do everything on my own, and I know that it's taken care of. I don't have to rely on anybody else. It's the ease of use, and not a lot of shops are using Pullbox or Previews World. And not a lot of people are trying to incorporate DC as well as what Phoenix is. Now Rick's gone so far as to create a Previews World or a Pullbox on his website for DC. There ain't no other shop that's doing that. You actually, like, right now, the way it is, you just got to go. If you're just some Joe Schmo at a regular shop or whatever, you have to go in and do it the old school way, which isn't bad, I guess, if you're used to that. But for me, I can't go in if there's a book that comes out. I can't go in. I travel so much, so it's convenient for me. I will continue to use Phoenix. There's shops around here near where I live or where I'm from. I live in Dayton, Ohio. There's shops around here. I don't necessarily like them. The one that's near me, the shop that we don't speak of, the guy is kind of he's not a good guy. He's a convicted freaking pedophile. And so
wow, this got dark quick.
Yeah. Yes. So, I mean, the first time I went in there, I was like, oh, geez. And that was right when I moved here. And that's right when I found Phoenix. I was looking for something online, and it just so happened that I stumbled across Rick and the guys doing a live show, and I've been hooked ever since. And honestly, I will probably continue to do and give my business to Phoenix because, one, I agree with I agree with their work ethic and integrity. Anything that happens, I mean, they're always up front. They're never trying to be maniacal or whatever behind the scenes. So I will always appreciate honesty and just overall the morality of the team. And so Josh says it, the best. Phoenix Comics equals greatness. And not to mention, I'm a veteran, right? So what other way for me, I get to support a veteran, shop, a veteran-owned shop, and that's ultimately what it comes down to. Is I'm giving back to my community, and I love comics, and all the books are cover price, so you can't really beat that either. They're not going to get jacked up.
Commercial going any longer than it has. But,
I'm sure Rick's like, yes.
Yes, talk about the shop.
Yeah,
I
give
actually
me-
do want to share my story of how I
Yeah.
got there. Rockon gets the credit for when I moved to Kansas City. I'm from Eastern Iowa. When I moved to this area, Phoenix didn't really pop up in the search. I mean, they're a little bit south of Kansas City, so I tried out a few other shops first, and I had put a thing on in one of the comic book groups, just, hey, move to this area, give me some shop recommendations that may not be popping up on Google.
Right.
And Rockon had mentioned Phoenix, and they were just having their second anniversary where like Cullen Bunn was in the shop and various creators and stuff. So I went to it. I liked it. I didn't open up a pull box or anything. I was still pretty comfortable with my discount I was getting from a mail order service. I've been doing mail orders so long, I actually got bought by the company that absorbed the company I was originally going through. I got bought as a customer and just kept it going. Anyway, I was getting to start going more. I liked whenever they would do sales and stuff on the back issues, I'd go digging through boxes, and I was kind of toying with the idea that I did like it enough that something was keeping me coming back. But what actually caused me to go home immediately and make a pull box and start taking everything off of my online my online company was Rick. Rick was working, and I came in with my wife, and he had Guardians of the Galaxy on the TV. And he had seen me in there enough that he knew who I was. And I think I had a little list of some books I was specifically looking for, and he was helping me find them. And my wife usually would sit in the car, but, I think she was tired of me hearing, oh, I'll just be 2 minutes in here. So we're in the shop, and she starts watching Guardians, which is up on their TV. And, she's kind of got her neck up like this and watching. Rick all of a sudden stops talking to me because we were talking about the books I was looking for. He says, I'll be right back. He runs over, grabs a chair, and brings it over for her so she could sit down. And I was like, you know what? This is what I've missed. Customer service. You don't get it with an online subscription. And that it just spoke so much to us, to the character of the shop, to the vibe they've developed there. And I immediately, like that night, I went home and built a pull box, and it took a little while. And then I think I had to call the shop the next day and finish figuring out which issue numbers I was going to take over at. But yeah, and then I haven't looked back since. I've switched all my business to them.
Yeah, it's like I said, it was convenient for me, and they mesh well with my standards and the integrity. The other thing I've noticed a lot, because I mean, there's you could go through other online retailers to like you said, there's mail orders and stuff like that. What I've been seeing a lot lately though is people getting screwed, people not getting either certain books. Either they're canceling and claiming that it's due to, for whatever reason, damages or they were shorted or whatever. I haven't had to deal with that at all, and I order heavy, and I've never had books taken from me. I've never had books. I've never had to worry about not getting the books that I order. And I have to say that, I've seen a ton of people complaining, and I'll just put it out there. I've seen a ton of people complaining about Midtown, and I've seen a ton of people complaining about my comic shop, through even DCBS or what is it? DCBS? Is that it? Yeah. And then now you have all of these other, we'll call them exclusive, comic shops that are the ones doing the exclusives. Your unknowns and your, who are some of the other ones that do
Black Flag.
Black Flag. Like they all, have order services as well for FOCs for new comics and stuff. And, I have seen so many people get screwed over by not getting the number of books. They've ordered 10, and they only get one. They say it's due to shortage.
Do that a few times. Just
Yeah.
cancel books.
Yeah.
I actually had to call and really complain.
McCorkindale said, Frankie's, you'll age 10 years before you get those shipped to you.
What was the big Thanos issue with Cosmic Ghost Rider? Was it 13?
Thanos 13.
Yep. So I had it on my poll. It had been on my poll the whole time. 1 through 12, no problem. That 13, because I only got my books 1 month at a time. Like I would get the big previews box show up. And they tried to short me on it. And I said, "This, no way. Like I've had a subscription to it. How is this going to be the one you short me on?" And they ended up making it good, but I had to send like multiple emails and point out how much money I was spending with them over many years. Like I was furious over that. And I didn't even care about the hype behind Cosmic Ghost Rider. I was more concerned.
It's a principle.
It was the principle of it.
Right. And like I said, been doing business with Phoenix for 2.5 years, never had one book taken from me, never had one book shorted from me. And I mean, I buy, or, and not even buy, I pre-order these books. So, it could be anything for them to just say, hey, we only got 5 of this. You pre-ordered 10, we only got 5. But that's never happened like I'm seeing happening other places. And as long as that, which I have no issue, I don't think that's going to change. But I will continue to shout it from the rooftops that Phoenix is head and shoulders above any other shop that's doing this right now, just because of the integrity alone.
And we're in no way compensated to say all this. We just kind of went on a tangent about ordering.
Yeah. This definitely did not, mean to turn out to the Wrath of God.
Jared Corkindale with his All Knowing Becker. I think I made it very clear in the last few weeks on this program. I do not know it all. I know some stuff. I have usually pretty good memory, but it's been letting me down lately. Metronome, great. Yeah, John Lang has had great experience with it too.
Yep, and he said he's down in Florida. I'm in Ohio.
They definitely got the reach. And see you, John. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for being. I mean, I know you didn't come on live, but thanks for being a part of. This.
It makes the show go by a lot quicker, and it's more enjoyable to have that communication. So, thanks for staying tuned in, because I think he was one of the first people to tune in today. So, thanks for staying. Holy cow! It has been an hour and 53 minutes, and I am gonna go live with Rick later on tonight because we're doing our FOC show. So make sure you guys tune into that. Rick and I will be going through, just talking about previews. We'll be going through Pollbox and Previews World, and we'll be looking at what we think are going to be, some good books to get.
Is Berserker on this FOC?
Berserker is on this FOC. I
imagine there will be a lot of Berserker talk.
There will probably be a lot of Berserker, and we'll go through all of the incentives that are there. So make sure you, I think we're going to probably do that around 7 Eastern, 6 Central, depending on if, I know Rick is driving right now. So if he can make it back and get all settled in, and maybe we can do that FOC probably around 7 Eastern, 6 Central, but that will be when we're ordering. So we will have, we will do the FOC show. We'll go through Previews World. We'll go through Lunar and look at the DC books that are on FOC. There's a couple good there's a couple good DC books. We'll talk about that. And then, so I'm going to try this week. I did it on Wednesday, and I think it was a little too late. This week, I'm going to do it on Tuesday. I'm going to go over the books that are coming out this week. And I'm going to look at some of the books that are hot already, if you will, that are already going for triple to quadruple cover price on a Tuesday when they're coming out on a Wednesday. And so that should give you.
You're all over the interweb lately.
That should
love your
give
Balls and Paul's show.
Oh, dude, I always appreciate your comments on it. You're like one of two people that actually tune into that, so that's awesome.
Anybody still left on here? OG Keymaster, YouTube. If he won't plug himself, I'm gonna plug him. The Halls and Call show is good. He shows off his latest stuff.
Yeah, yesterday was a big one, and I'm starting to see that Darth Vader 2. That because I got that Star Wars bundle that I had got. It's like a $75 bundle that I had won, an auction that I had won, and in it was a Darth Vader 2, which is the first appearance of Cad Bane. That book is starting to take off, and so I'm glad that I got it when I did. I got it with about 150 other Star Wars books, and so that comes out, roughly to $2 a piece. I pretty much got that thing for. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, so we're gonna do FOC tonight, and then Tuesdays I'm gonna try and do like a look ahead so that you know what books are going for on Wednesdays. That way you can try and get those hot books. So I'll look through what's coming out this week and kind of give what I think is happening, or what books you should pick up if you're trying to flip. I think that's it. You got anything else you want to talk about?
I don't. Anybody that wants to send me hate mail about my Elizabeth Olsen problems, I don't even know where. I guess Twitter. Because I'm always saying like to find you on YouTube, but my presence on YouTube is just as watching videos. I don't make any content on there. I used to be pretty active on Twitter, not really anymore. At Becker563 for anybody that wants to yell at me about Scarlet Witch. Apparently everybody loves her. I can't believe one person doesn't think she looks like Smeagol.
Yeah, you were definitely
I am
on that. All right, John said he'll get in live next time.
We'd love to have you on, man.
Yeah, definitely start getting your WandaVision episode 5 talk. Man, I'm still excited we get 5 episodes now. 5 more episodes.
4 more. This was episode 4. No, 5. You're right, 9. Duh. I don't know why I had 8 in my head. 5 more. We're not even halfway yet.
I know. That gave me so much hope. That gave me so much hope. Because I thought they were going to have to like cram a whole bunch of shit into 2 episodes. And so.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering how good that was going to be. But now I'm really excited.
Yeah. So. But yeah, so John, definitely you are more than welcome to come on next week. We'll probably have the Rictator on with us next week so he can run all of the videos and stuff. I'm not too good with that. He
makes us look a lot better.
He does. I mean, the stuff he's able to do. And then real quick, we got Josh. As a veteran, being able to support a veteran-owned comic book store was awesome, but the kindness and support they showed me meant the world. Absolutely, Josh, and that's why I continue to give them my business. Not only because I like, supporting a veteran-owned business, but because the team there has become family, and I will always support family. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. The chat has been awesome. You guys have definitely made this go by quicker and smoother to where myself and Mr. Becker aren't stumbling so much. You guys have given us some talking points and allowed us to, converse a little more. So thank you for that. Mike, thanks for coming on, because if you didn't, it would have been just me stumbling and saying a whole bunch.
I'll say
Rick
for
wasn't here.
Plenty.
Yeah.
And,
so Rick wasn't able to be here, and so thank you for jumping on. Hopefully next week we can get the team on, and we can get more people on. Like I'm all about getting as many people. If we can get 9 or 10 people, yeah, if we can get 9 or 10 people on here and just BS, this is what the new comic shop has become. With everyone having to kind of stay away, or whatnot from. You can't be in the same spot all at one time, or whatever. This is definitely I want to make this the comic shop talk area to where everyone can come on and everyone can have say their piece. You don't have to type it in. And I don't think Rick has an issue with it either. He's we want this to be
No, that's how I got involved in this, was just from commenting.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll shoot for it again next week. Maybe we can get more people involved with this, and we can make this a thing. But we'll have 5 more episodes, so 5 more of these for sure, and then we move into Falcon and Winter Soldier, which that'll be good too.
I'm excited.
That's coming on in March. Get Jeff Edwards. We're working on Jeff Edwards. Jeff Edwards, he came on the. He was on the Star Wars talk when we did Star Wars. And so the problem is we usually do this on Saturday nights. Maybe we'll just move this to Sundays. We actually had more people comment, I think, today than we did on Saturday nights.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
But
I know he can't do Saturday nights because that's usually when he does his drawings. He does his live show on Saturday nights to do his drawing. And so the only reason he jumped on with us that one night is because he ended his, and then he just had time to jump on or whatnot. Oh, he's digging WandaVision. So maybe we'll set that up next Sunday. If we push it to Sunday, maybe we can push it to Sunday and we can get Jeff in here, or we do an earlier Saturday night episode. So we'll work on that. But everyone, thanks for
the Super Bowl, so probably avoid
that. Yeah, maybe we want to avoid that. Maybe we definitely want to move to Saturday, stick to Saturday. Then didn't even think about that. Good call. That's why I keep you around, Mike. But all right, so thank you guys. I know I said that a bunch, but appreciate everyone joining, and tune in a couple hours where Rick and I will be doing the FOC show. All right, see you guys.
Everybody.